There are two different psukim in our Parsha that of Nitzavim that relate to Rosh Hashanah, that relate to our season of Teshuvah, with a very slight nuanced difference between them that needs to be looked at. The Torah tells us, when all these things come upon you, the good, the bad, that I placed before you, referring back to Hagrizim and Hareval. You return it to your heart amongst all the nations where you were sent to. Vishavta, and you will return ad Hashem Elokacha, to Hashem, until Hashem. Vishamata b'kolo, when you will listen to Him, kichol asher anochim tzavucha yom hata avanecha b'chol vavecha uv'chol nafshecha. The mitzvah of Teshuvah. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Returning to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Vishavta, you'll return ad Hashem Elokecha, until Hashem your God. Just a few psukim later, the Torah tells us, Ki sishma b'kol Hashem Elokecha, when you listen to the words of your Hashem your God, lishmor mitosav v'chagosav, to guard or watch over all of His commandments and His Torahs, haksov v'sevar Torah, they're written in the Torah. Ki sashuv el Hashem Elokecha b'chol vavecha nafshecha, this will be the time when you return to Hashem with all of your heart and all of your soul. Another pasuk tells us about Teshuvah, certainly a key and critical mitzvah in the Torah, part of our avodas Hashem, and certainly part of our season. But there's a very, very slight but significant nuanced difference between the two psukim. The first pasuk tells us, Vishavta, and you will return ad, until Hashem Elokecha. The next pasuk says, Ki soshuv el, you return to, ad, until, el, to. What's the difference between those two words? And is there significance to the fact that the Torah switches them? And the truth is, and the Ksava Kabbalah points this out when he's trying to explain it, is that we find it other places as well. Kechui machem devarim, take with you these words, vishuvu, and return el Hashem, return to Hashem. So which one is it? What is the significance between the difference between the two? So the Ksava Kabbalah explains that there are two different avenues when it comes to Teshuvah. And the effects of the Teshuvah are going to be very different. You see, there are times when the reason that we do Teshuvah is because we're scared. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we read it in Parshas Kisavo, we always read Parshas Kisavo with the difficult, terrible tochacha and the warnings of what can happen if we veer away from Hashem. We always read it prior to Rosh Hashanah. It puts us in a certain frame of mind. And that's called Teshuvah Miyira. We return to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, not out of a sense of love, but out of a sense of fear. And Chazal tell us that when that happens, when we have that type of Teshuvah, our Averos do not completely disappear. They are forgiven, but they do not become Zechuyos. I mean, there's still some sort of barrier that remains between the two. Says the Ksava Kabbalah, Im Shatshuvna Yiras HaOnshim. If our Teshuvah is because we're afraid of the sins, then what happens? Ein avon nimchok legamri. It's not completely wiped out. It's lowered. The ones that we do on purpose are like that we did them by accident. But Rosh Machit, there still is some sort of imprint that is left. And therefore, where can we return? Ad, until. We can't get all the way there. There's still a machitza, there's still a barrier which separates us from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But Teshuvah Me'ava is different. When we realize that the path that we're on and the distance from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and the fact that He's our Melech, it's what we want, and want to come towards Him, we realize that the path is just a mistake. And it's not because we're afraid of punishment, we just realize that this isn't what we're supposed to be doing. We have a yearning to get close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and we have a Teshuvah Me'ava, and Chazal tell us that our Averos become mitzvos. When that happens, all of the mechitzos, all of the barriers disappear. And then, Vishuvu el Hashem. Then we can come back all the way to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Both are significant and both are important. Both are gifts from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They have the opportunity. But the way that we approach Teshuvah, and if we can put ourselves into a framework of understanding that the reason that we come back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu is He is the Melech. We want to get closer to the King. The Melech is in the Sadeh. The Melech comes out to us and is ready to be coronated on Rosh Hashanah so soon. And when we have that perspective, then we have the opportunity not just to return ad Hashem, as the pasuk tells us, but we can return all the way el Hashem, to HaKadosh Baruch Hu loves us so much, who wants us to come back. And be'ezras Hashem, if we approach our Teshuvah season over the coming days with that perspective, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu will accept our Teshuvah, get rid of all the barriers that are mafsik, that separate between us and Him, and we all are zocha and should be zocha for Ksiva v'chasima tova.